So let's look at the situations. Number one is public institutions. You know that in the public institutions, there's a lot of bureaucracy. Applying for a document, basically, it normally takes a lot of time. So basically, you know, in the public sector, the process is normally very because what to be able to what to check on the aspect of what reduce unethical behavior, because in the public sector basically that is our taxes, me and you. So that's why you have to put a lot of process so that somebody don't find it easy to be able to misuse somebody's fund. So we talk about the public sector what government agencies often require strict adherence to laws, rules, and procedures which align with what WEB's what lucrative principles. So if you look at the government sector, application for any even a document, even a birth certificate, basically there's a procedure. You cannot just apply the way you want. There's normally requirements, attachments. So there's some aspect of what bureaucracy. You cannot just use shortcut to be able to get those documents. Number two is large manufacturing firms. Basically, they must be bureaucracy because when you when you're doing manufacturing, one thing that will happen is that you produce in large quantity. When you're producing in large quantity, there's bound to be aspect of quality measures that have to be in place. So if you compromise the process or the stages, then basically you can compromise the quality. So to ensure that you continue producing the right quality, you must ensure that what those rules, regulations, and laws are followed to the letter, or they are adhered to the letter. That is basically called what? They call it what? So that where the reputation, and quality control are critical, bureaucracy ensures uniformity and efficiency. Because when you're producing goods, basically, if you're producing loaves of bread, there's aspect of uniformity. If it's about 600 grams, you produce 600. So you cannot find something, some are 30, 50. You normally ensure that what? In terms of quality, in terms of quantity, then the quantity remains the same. Even if you produce what? 1,000 or 1,000,000 unit, that is very important. It's a very important aspect you have to look at. Another is what? Healthcare institutions. Basically, matters health, there's no shortcut. In matters health, regulations have to be followed to the letter. Because if you take a shortcut in matter health, somebody can die. You can use, you may do something that we may even what end up losing somebody or end up losing life. So basically, it's important. So also health regulation rules rely on strict protocols and hierarchical structures for safety and legal compliance. Now, talk about strict protocols. There are protocols we followed. When somebody faints, there's a protocol. When somebody has had an accident, has broken limbs, there's a protocol. You cannot come with your own way of doing things. There's a way in which what? When an ambulance comes to the site of an accident, there's a protocol. We don't just come and carry people. There's a way to do their things. So basically, that's a procedure. So that if you go against the procedure, you can even be sued. You can even be sued God, of course. So basically, it's important that what we look at those aspects of in health because what the nature of the institution. When we talk about healthcare is very what is very critical in, and also is an area that if you make a mistake, then basically you may end up what causing a lot of damage, and even what loss of life may occur. Then number four is what military and police forces. This is where order is normally being used. In military or in police, you don't question. If you're told to march, you march. If you're told to move forward, you move forward. If you're told to shoot, you shoot. Basically, that's called what? Order. So in those cases, you don't have time to reason. You don't have time to reason until this is what, no. What happens is that in this case, you need to ensure that what? You follow the order. If you want to resign as a military officer, there's normally what? A rule to follow in ordering. So basically, that is very important. Very important to look at. Then next one is regulated industries, e.g. banking and aviation. Now, when we talk about banking, in the banking sector, I don't know if you're going to the bank, and sometimes you even feel bad. You're told to do a signature, and then your signature varies slightly with what you had signed when you're opening an account. Then start feeling bad. Say that's why you denying me my money, and I'm the one you can confirm my face. Because there's what's called protocol. We can know you, this is you, but basically you have to give a good signature. You have to sign the way you normally sign. That is called protocol. When we talk about aviation, flying of planes, landing of planes, there's a protocol for starting a plane and flying a plane. There's a protocol for landing. You cannot land the way you want. You have to follow certain procedures. If you miss those procedures, basically you can bring a can what? You can end up causing a very big accident. So it's important that we look at those aspects very carefully. So I don't know if that question is asked well. I don't know if the questions I answer, or is a question you need me to elaborate again? Any question? Any question? I think there's somebody who asked me to look at that question, and I think I've been able to repeat it. So if you have a question, okay, I'm guessing. Let me get a clarity from what I think this is Mbuche. Mbuche is asking. The question asked when is confused because what they asked discuss situations. Now let me read that question so that we get to understand that point very clearly. That highlights 5 situations. Situations when you apply the theory. Maybe the way the structure is the way the questions are the answer are put could be. Now, if you look at the introduction parts, look at the introduction part, how I've introduced it. Look at what the answer is. Look at how I've introduced it.
Offer a 30% discount for orders of 120 mattresses and a discount of 5% for orders of 180 mattresses. So what are we required to do here? In Oman 1, we are required to compute the economic order quantity of the mattresses. And Oman 2, we are required to determine the cost minimizing order size from the supply. We are going to start with Roman 1, and then I will be able to explain how we do Roman 2. So in Roman 1, we are required to compute the economic order quantity of the mattresses, the economic order quantity of what? Of the mattresses, economic order quantity of the mattresses. So automatically, the first thing we need to recall here is how do we compute the EOQ? To compute the EOQ, the economic order quantity, we take the square root of 2DC naught, that is 2, multiplied by the annual demand, multiplied that with the ordering cost per order, and basically divided that with the HC. HC is the holding cost or the carrying cost per what? Per unit. Now, do we have these values here? Do we have these particular values here? Yes. So if you go back to the question, I think the additional information, and remember in our case, we are told that this company basically deals or basically sells mattresses. So if you go to note number 1, in note number 1, you're told the annual sales demand of the mattresses is 480 mattresses. So basically, it means that this company here basically do what? It purchases some mattresses, and then it sells those mattresses. So we are told the annual sales demand is 480. So basically, what our company here need to purchase in order to sell will be 480 mattresses. So these are the mattresses which are purchased by our company. So that is basically the annual demand. Do we have the ordering cost per order? Yes, the ordering cost per order, basically this one is given in note number 3. Additional information number 3, we are told the ordering cost is shillings 62.50 per word per order. So that is basically the ordering cost per order. What about this one? HC, the holding or the carrying cost per mattress. So that one is basically given below paragraph 1. And you're given the holding cost of mattresses per annum, and basically you're given that is a percentage. So you can see we're given various components of this holding cost, but basically what we consider here is the total percentage. The total percentage, which is below paragraph 1, 15%. And basically, if you check up there, you'll be able to see that percentage or this is a percentage of the purchase price. So to compute this one, we take 15% of the purchase price per mattress. So what is the cost or what is the purchase price per mattress? Can you be able to see the purchase price per mattress? This company purchases each mattress at an amount of how much? Can you see that in the additional information? Yes, I'm told by Naitare. In additional information number 2, each mattress costs shillings 4,000. Cost shillings what? 4,000. So therefore, that is the purchase price. So this one is always computed as a percentage of the purchase price. The purchase price is what? Is 4,000. So this will give us what? Will it give us 600? Is it 600? 600? Is that what you're getting, Emma? Aaron, are you getting that? Abdinasil, are you getting 600? Yes. So in our case, therefore, we can move and basically we compute the economic order quantity. So by taking 2 times the annual demand, which is basically for 80, times the ordering cost, which is basically 62.50, divided by holding cost, which is basically what? 600. Which is what? 600. So let's get the final answer here. We get the final answer. We get the final answer here. So what will be the final answer? So we have 2 times 480 times 62.50 divided by what? 600. And basically that is giving us 10,000. So that means that the economic order quantity here are 100 mattresses. Are 100 what? Mattresses. 100 what? Mattresses. So what does that mean? What does this mean? That the economic order quantity is 100 mattresses. It basically means that for this company to be able to minimize the costs associated with the inventory, the holding cost, the purchase cost, and also the holding cost, the company, anytime the company is placing an order, our company should order how many mattresses? 100 mattresses. That is the economic order quantity. It is the order quantity which will minimize the company's what? The company's inventory, the company's cost associated with what? With this particular mattresses here, or basically associated with the purchasing these particular mattresses. Now that basically what is required in Roman 1, and basically by doing that, the marks are located there 1, 2. Then I want us to move to Roman 2, and basically what are we told? We are required to compute the cost minimizing order size from the supplier. The cost minimizing order size, order what? Size from who? From the supplier. From who? From the supplier. So in other terms, what you are required to compute here is the order size, which by the end of the day will do what? Will minimize, that is the company's what? The company's cost associated with what? Associated with the inventory. Now, which order size do we have? Now, in this case, if you go back to the information which are given in note number 4, can you go to note number 4? Because that is what you're going to use here, plus what you have computed up there. We are told the supplier offers 3% discount for orders of 120 mattress. Now, remember what we have said in Roman 1. For this company to be able to minimize the cost associated with the basically ordering and also holding these particular mattresses, the company has to order how many mattresses? 100 mattresses. Through that, the company will be able to minimize the total cost associated with this particular inventory of mattresses. But the supplier here has extended a discount to this company, and the company is told that if the company orders 120 mattresses instead of 100, the company will get a 3% discount. Automatically, what that means is that, remember, the purchase price per mattress is 4,000. So if the company purchases from 120 mattresses, the company will not pay 4,000, but the company will do what? Will be given a 3% discount. The price now to be paid will be 97% of this. So then in the same point you're told, and a discount of 5% for orders of 180 mattresses. For orders of 180 what? Mattresses. So therefore, in this case, our company has 3 options. Our company has 3 options. Number 1, either to order 100 mattresses, which is basically the company's computed economic order quantity, or the company to order 120 mattresses and basically qualify for 30% discount, or the company orders 180 mattresses and the company qualify for 5% what? Discount. Now, the company has those 3 options. Now, what we are required to do here is basically we determine the order size, either 100 120 or basically 180, which basically will result to the least cost. To the least what? A cost. Basically, what in other terms we need to do is to evaluate those three orders. How do we evaluate the orders? Usually in management accounting, we evaluate the options in terms of the cost. In terms of what? The cost. Because the company here has three what? Option. Either to order 100, to order 120, or to order what? 180. Which cost do we need to compute here? Of each order size, we need to compute the total cost, which will comprise of the three costs: the purchase cost, the ordering cost, and also what? And also 80 mattresses. 180 what? Mattresses. Now, if the company orders 100 mattresses, what will be the purchase price? The purchase price, in fact, we can just write it up there. Purchase price, which is denoted by small p, that one will be 4,000 per mattress if the company order 100. And then we also know what is the holding cost. The holding cost here will be 15% of 4,000, and basically that will be what? Will be 600. But now, if the company orders 120 mattresses, the company qualifies for a 30% discount. What will be the purchase price here? The purchase price will not be 4,000, but our company getting a 30% discount. So the purchase price here will be 97% of 4,000. So this will give us a purchase price of how much? A purchase price of how much? So the company will get a 30% discount. So instead of paying 4,000 for each mattress, the company will pay 97% of that. That will give us how much? Yes, I'm told by Jeff that this will give us 38.80. So that will be the purchase price per mattress. And then that also means that we will have a different holding cost, because holding cost, this one is always computed as a percentage of this. So the holding cost here will be equal to 15% of 38.80. 38.80. So let's compute this one. The new holding cost. The new holding cost, I'm told this one by Nigeria will be 582. 582. 582. 582. 582. So we do the same for the other order size, which is basically the company ordering 180 mattresses. So here the company will get a 5% discount. 5% discount. So mean that the purchase price here will be 95% of 4,000. Or 4,000. So how much will be the purchase price? Yes. How much will be the purchase price? How much will be the purchase price? How much will be the purchase price? Yes. The purchase price here will be 38, and then the holding cost here will be 15% of this. 15% of that. So what will be 15% of that? It will be what? It will be 5 what? It will be 570. It will be 5 what? It will be 570. It will be 5 what? 70. Now, having this information, what I want us we do, I want us we evaluate these three options. And basically, I've said we evaluate these three options in terms of computing the total cost of each option. How do we compute the total cost? The total cost, this one is equal to the purchase cost. The purchase cost is equal to annual demand times the purchase price per unit, which is basically small p. This is a multiplication sign. Then to this, we add the holding cost. The holding cost. How do we compute the holding cost? The holding cost is equal to Q. And basically, in this case, when we talk about Q, remember, is the order quantity. Because, like in this case here, our Q will be 180. Here, our Q will be what? 120. Here, our Q will be 100. Q is basically the order quantity. So we multiply that with HC. And then to this, we add what? The ordering cost. So the ordering cost will be equal to annual demand divided by Q times what? Times C naught. Times C what? C naught. This is basically how we compute the total cost of each option here. Of each what? Option. So what I want us we do, I want us now we compute the total cost associated with each what? With each order size. Associated with each order size. Each order size. So let's start with this order size, where our Q will be 100 mattresses. 100 mattresses. 100 mattresses. So we need to compute the total cost. So what you just need to note is what will be changing, but our formula is also very, very important. We start by computing the purchase cost here. So the annual demand, this one will not change in all options. So what will change is the purchase price. For example, here the purchase price is 4,000, here is 3880, here is 3800. The purchase price will have to change. The other item which will have to change for the different options is the holding cost, this one. But now this one, nothing here is nothing, or basically what will change here is just the Q. It's just the Q here. Yes, so we start with this one where our Q is 100. So we take the purchase price, we take the annual demand. Remember, the annual demand will not change. Were these for 80 mattresses? The annual demand, yes, the annual demand in note number 1 is for 80 mattresses. We multiply that with the purchase price per unit, which is this one, which is 4,000. 4,000. So that is the purchase cost plus now the holding cost, which is equal to Q. Our Q here is 100 divided by 2. And then to this we add what? To this we add, okay, we multiply that with this one, with the holding costs per unit. And then to this we add the ordering cost. The ordering cost is equal to annual demand, which is 480. Remember that is our annual demand. Divided that with the Q. Our Q is 100. We multiply that with what? The ordering cost. The ordering cost is one will not change. It remains as given in note number 3. 62 what? 6250. So we need to get the total cost. But you also need to note that this 100, this remember is our economic order quantity. And basically we say that at economic order quantity, I think I demonstrated this using a graph. I said at the economic order quantity, so basically these two costs are always the same. The holding cost and the ordering cost are the same. The holding cost and the ordering cost are the same at the economic order quantity. So these two costs, this and this should be the same. I don't know whether you're getting the same value. So this and this one should be the same. Are you getting the same value? 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 Yes, I'm told it's 30,000 each. At economic order quantity, those two costs are the same. Okay, so having that, we need to evaluate the other option, which is basically ordering 120 mattresses. 120 mattresses. So, and we do the same. We compute the total cost, which will be equal to the purchase cost, which is basically equal to the annual demand. This will not change, times the purchase price per unit, which is now 3880. 3880. And then plus the holding cost, which is equal to Q. Our Q here is 120. Is 120 divided by 2 times what? The holding cost. The holding cost is 582 plus the ordering cost. Ordering cost is equal to annual demand for 80 divided by Q, which is 120 times what? The ordering cost per order, which is 62 what? 6250. But now in this case, you'll be able to see 120 mattresses is not our EOQ. So therefore, these two costs will not be the same. So these costs are always the same at the EOQ. At EOQ. 120 is not our EOQ. So the two costs will not be the same. The two costs will not be the same. So get for me the final value here. Get for me the final value here. Get for me the final value. The final value here. The final value. The final value, what are you getting? The final value, what are you getting? What are you getting? What are you getting? $19 what? Yes, I'm also getting 19. 22. 320. 320. Yes, so that is the figure I'm getting from Emma. Are you getting the same? Are you getting the same, Aaron? Jeff, are you getting the same? Sadrach, are you getting the same? Are you getting the same values here? DP, are you getting the same value? Are you getting the same value? Please try to hurry up. I want us to do more questions on this. Yes, so that is confirmed. So let's evaluate the last option, whereby the company has been given a discount if it's order 120 mattresses. So we need to get the cost of this order size. So the cost will be equal to the purchase price, or the purchase cost, which is equal to annual remain the same, times the purchase price per unit, which is this one, 38, plus the holding cost, which is equal to Q. Our Q here is 180, divided by 2, times the holding cost, which is 570, plus the ordering cost, which is basically equal to the annual demand for 80, divided by Q. Our Q is 180, times ordering cost per order, which remain the same, the same. So let's get the total cost associated with that order size. So the purchase price or the purchase cost will be for 80 times 3,800. That will be 1824. Then we have 180 divided by 2 times 570, which is basically 51,300. And then we have for 80 divided by 180 times 6250. 6250. Yes, what are you getting? What are you getting? You're getting what? Yes, 91, 967. 967, is that what you're getting? Is that what you're getting? 1881, yes. So basically, in our case, we have computed the costs, which are basically associated with what? Associated with those particular different order size. Now, if you check on what the examiner was asking, the examiner was asking about the cost minimizing order size. The cost minimizing order size. Remember, in our case, we have 3 order size. The company can either order 100 mattresses, 120 mattresses, or 180. Which order size will result to the least cost? So the one which will result to the least cost is the third option here. Is the third what? Options here. Is the third what? Option, the third option. And therefore, in this case, we will say what? We will say the cost minimizing order size. Order size is 180 mattresses. 180 mattresses. 180 what? Mattresses. 180 mattresses. 180 mattresses. So in this case, you may also be required to, for example, give an advice to this company. But this was not a requirement of the question. We were just required to ascertain the cost minimizing order size. We have been able to do that, and basically have said that the cost minimizing order size is what? 120. But in this case, you may be required to give an advice to the management of this company. In this case, if you are to advise them, we will advise them to go or to accept a 5% discount. Remember, if the company accepts a 5% discount, or basically we can order them to order 180 units and get a 5% what? Discount, because that is basically resulting to the what? Cost. So we can say our advice is that to this company is to purchase 180 mattresses, and basically do what? And qualify for what? Qualify for 5% discount. Qualify for 5% what? Discount. Qualify for 5% what? Qualify for 5% discount. Yes, so that is in case we are required to advise this company on what? We are required to advise this company on maybe what to do. Which discount do they need to accept? Which discount do they need to accept? Yes. We are basically done with that one. I want us to look on another one. So these questions are very, very common. You'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see that these are very, very common. Very, very common. Let's look on this other one for September 2021. September 2021. September 2021. 2021, we have question number 3. Question 3. Question number 3B. 3B. So let's go to that question. Question number 3. Question 3B of September 2021. September 2021. If you're there, please confirm. Yes, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? If you're there, please confirm. Please confirm if you have the question with you. September 2021. September 2021. September 2021 question. Question 3B. Okay, so we are told Fanaka Enterprises uses economic order quantity to establish the reorder quantity of raw materials, raw material Y. The company hold no buffer stock. So in this case, when we talk about buffer stock, this is the safety stock. The safety stock. So we are told the following information related to the raw material Y. We are given the annual usage. Annual usage, remember, we said is also the same with annual consumption. This is actually the same with the annual demand. So basically 48,000 units. The purchase price, which is 80 shillings per unit. The ordering cost, 120 per order. And then the annual holding cost is 10% of the purchase price. You can see the holding cost always is given as a percentage of the purchase price. Of the purchase what? Purchase price. Abdinasil, I've just shared those past papers in the class WhatsApp group. Can you check? I've just shared those papers in the class WhatsApp group. Although maybe someone can take a photo of the question and maybe post it in the group to assist our friend here, Abdinasil. Okay, so we are told the company, in the last paragraph, the company, as a supplier of raw material Y, has offered a discount of 1% of the purchase price if each order placed is for 2,000 units. For 2,000 units. So what are we required to do? One is we compute EOQ of material Y. Number 2, we advise the management of this company on whether to accept or decline the discount. To accept or decline what? The discount. We start with Roman 1. Roman 1 is quite simple. That's why you can see only 2 marks are given. 1 mark is given. EOQ for raw material. For raw material Y. Raw material Y. So this one is equal to the square root of 2D C0 all over HC. And I think in our case, we have these particular values. We have all of them. We take 2. We have the annual demand, or basically the annual usage, which is 48,000 units. That is the annual demand, 48,000 units. Then we multiply that with the ordering cost per order, which is 120. And then we divide that with what? The holding cost. The holding cost in our case, is what? Is 10%. Now, Italy, you have already computed this. You are very fast. Yes. So this is basically 10% of the purchase price. The purchase price is basically 80. Is what? Is 80. So this one will be 10% of the purchase price. Our friend here, Naitari, has already computed that. Naitari, you are very fast. So maybe just confirm this. Just confirm whether we're going to get those 1,200 units. 1,200 units. 1,200 units. Is that what you're getting? 1,200 units. 2 times 48,000 times 120 divided by 8. Square root answer. Yes, so that basically will give us what? That will give us 1,200 units. 1,200 units. So this is the economic order quantity. Just one mark which was allocated for that. So then we go to Roman 2. Roman 2, we are required, what are we told here? We are told to advise the management of this company whether to accept or decline the discount. So we are required to do what? To advise on whether to accept or do what? Decline the discount. Decline what? The discount. Decline the discount. Should the company accept this discount or not? Remember what you're told in the last paragraph. We are told the company supplier of raw material Y has offered in cost per unit will be equal to 10% of this 80. The holding cost will be what? Will be 8 shillings per unit. So if the company order 1,200 units, it will pay 80 shillings per unit.